Hey guys, it's Kayla from Killing It With Coupons, and I have got a Walgreens haul to share with you guys for this week. So my deals this week at Walgreens did not work out exactly. Unfortunately, it looks like I did not actually earn back my $10 the beauty reward that is going on for this week, and that is completely at my own fault. To be completely honest with you guys, I was doing this deal super late last night. I did this as a grocery pickup, and I was coming up with the deal and how I wanted to do it, like I said, really late last night, and I was a little tired. On top of that, I'm sick, so my brain is not all fully there right now, and you know, like I said, feeling a little under the weather. It's just taking a little bit of an extra toll. But on top of that too, I wasn't 100% sure that this wasn't going to work out this way, although I kind of suspected that it might not. Then this morning I ended up thinking about it a little bit more once I actually had some sleep, and realized, yeah, you know, I don't think that this is gonna work. Now, I was actually nervous that I wasn't going to get the P&G deal, the Walgreens cash back for that, and I did. So thankfully, this didn't go as bad as I think it could have, but I ended up not getting back $10 in Walgreens cash, which surprisingly was not actually the most make or break of the whole deal as a whole, because I still saved over $100 on everything I picked up, and my out of pocket was super low. And the whole point in me doing this was that, again, because you can only redeem Walgreens cash, I believe it's between $1, $2, $3, $4, and $5, and then also $10, $20, and $50. So if I had been able to use $30 like I kind of thought would have kept me safe and being able to earn back all of the Walgreens cash, it would have been fine. But unfortunately, because you can only redeem it either in 20 or in 50, so I was hoping to add a handful more items so that I would still be able to meet the threshold and then redeem $50 in Walgreens cash. But because we have two spend deals that are going on this week, which are separate from the boosters, they're actually, the P&G deal is spend $45 and you earn $15 back in Walgreens cash. And this is with the online deals. In stores, I believe, have different offers. I ended up doing this online as a pickup order. So again, that is the offer that's available, and I believe that is with the clippable coupon. And funny enough, it actually says P&G oral care. It's not. I think there's a separate oral care coupon or something like that. It's not exclusively on oral care for some reason. It's just worded as that right now. So you don't, it is just the P&G spend, you know, $45 and you earn back $15 in Walgreens cash. We also have a deal with a beauty reward that's going on, which is when you spend $25 in beauty products, you earn back $10 in Walgreens cash. So your threshold in order to redeem Walgreens cash would need to be $70. And again, that was where I kind of screwed up, because I was like, oh, okay, well, so long as I'm over $45, it'll be fine, because the $45 won't affect the P&G deal, and it will just apply to the beauty deal. And then, you know, the beauty deal items that I picked up won't count against the, you know, using the Walgreens cash won't count against the P&G deal. So that was kind of how I was initially thinking. And then, like I said, as I kept sort of going, I was like, I actually don't think that's going to work. I think I need to meet the $70 threshold in order to actually get that back. But I was kind of thinking, well, yeah, but with the spend boosters, and I was like, no, because spend boosters are different. And yeah, like I said, I was just going through it in my head last night, and then I was like, no, it won't work. And then I was like, yeah, it should work. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna try it and see if it doesn't work, because I had $80 in Walgreens cash that has been sitting in my account, and for the most part with a lot of the deals I can't use it, because again, for example, like this scenario, I would have to have used like $20 in Walgreens cash and then paid a pretty good amount out of pocket and then earned back $40. So I would have came out making more money in Walgreens cash and then not using that much, and then still have more money, and like it just keeps accumulating. So again, well, this did not work out like it was supposed to, and it is rather unfortunate. I will share with you guys the deals, and again, if you're not using Walgreens cash, like, don't worry about it. It's, you know, like I said, this was just a completely my problem kind of thing, in my issue. And what I realized I could have done though, to have just completely, like, if you guys want wanted to do the exact same deal as me and use Walgreens cash to pay and all that kind of stuff, you could. You're out of pocket for all of the items plus the other 3 that I'll mention, and using $50 in Walgreens cash, you'll probably still end up paying around $20 to $25 out of pocket, which is still kind of high. And then you would earn back the $40 and some change, or 41 probably, making the net cost though still, like, the net cost would be like $30. But you could throw in one of the Tide liquid laundry detergents, which are $10.99, and we have a $3 off coupon. And you could also buy 2 of the L'Oreal lipsticks, which are $10.99, and they're buy one get one 50% off, and we have a $6 off 2 coupon. So that's what I could have done. And again, you used Walgreens cash, still earned back $40 in Walgreens cash, making my net cost not quite as good. My out of pocket still pretty good, getting a lot more items, but you know, or I guess 3 more items really. But I still honestly think that even though this didn't work out exactly like I had planned, my out of pocket was only $4.11, and my net cost was still only under $25, which for the 3 Olay body washes alone at retail price is actually more money than what my net cost was for all of the rest of the items, which I am not mad about that, because these Milani lipsticks are my absolute favorite. I actually think that it is this one. I got such a good deal on one of these like 15 years ago when I would coupon at CVS, and I used it up since then, but I think that it's that shade. I have never bought it again since then for some reason, and then when I saw this sale going on at Walgreens, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to get my favorite ever lipstick that I just for some reason completely forgot existed until like today, and was like, oh my gosh, I love this lipstick. And so again, because of the beauty deals though that just are going on in general though this week, like I actually think too, like I don't normally get deals on this L'Oreal moisturizer and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen some deals kind of recently, but again, that's a product that's normally $20 at Walgreens, and I was still able to get like all of this stuff for around that price as a net cost, and less of that out of pocket. I paid under $5 out of pocket. Yes, I used a ton of my Walgreens cash, and I only got about $30 back in it, so I'm down about $20. But in addition to that, I also have the monthly spend booster, which is when you make 3 transactions, I think over $15, you'll earn back a $10 in Walgreens cash. So I actually should technically recoup the money that I didn't get back from that beauty reward in over the next 2 weeks anyway. So it's not really like I'm going to be down in Walgreens cash, because for some reason, like I said, I always, with those spend boosters and things like that, there's always ways to earn Walgreens cash. So for me, like I said, surprisingly, even though this didn't work out as I assumed or kind of hoped that it would, this still really, like I said, for me, I'm not mad. For paying less than $5 out of pocket and still as a net cost of $25, I still, like I said, am really not upset, because I know that that Walgreens cash, very quickly, I will earn that back with monthly and weekly spend boosters, like all the time. And again, sometimes there's deals where it's like, yeah, I still, you know, pay like $20 out of pocket, but then I get like $20 back in Walgreens cash, or 15 or something like that. And like sometimes, again, I can't always use Walgreens cash to pay, because then I won't earn those weekly or monthly or those spend deals, because it will affect those thresholds. If you are planning on doing the P&G deal and or the beauty event deal together, make sure that your threshold is over $70 if you're using Walgreens cash to pay. And that is online deals again, so you're not, it'll be different in stores, and then in stores you can use like register rewards and stuff like that, so it'll affect it differently. But again, if you're doing online, this is going to wind up being different than in stores anyway. So if you do want to use Walgreens cash though, and you want to do both these deals, your out of pocket's probably going to be very high. Like for the P&G deal that I was like initially, when I had the items in my cart, it was going to be a very high out of pocket, like $30 or $40 almost. And then throw in the beauty deal, again, I probably could have looked at spending almost $50 out of pocket, because I really wasn't going to be able to use a lot of Walgreens cash. Maybe 20 bucks, but I was still probably looking at like $30 in out out of pocket, which is pretty expensive. So like I said, overall, this is actually not the worst way that this could have worked out for me. And I'm still happy that the P&G deal still worked out, but the beauty deal for me didn't. It looks like it just took the higher threshold and the most that I was going to earn back and still gave me that, and not the lower of the 2 thresholds. And I didn't get that back. Like I said, even if I had figured out a better way to have done this, I still would have probably been looking at a higher out of pocket and a higher net cost as well, because there wasn't a ton of other deals that I was going to really be able to match up that were going to earn me a lot of Walgreens cash back to then make my net cost better, if that makes sense. Like I said, this is like some of the super advanced Walgreens type stuff. Walgreens is probably actually one of my favorite stores though to shop at, because of all these like spend booster deals and things like that, and figuring out how to work them to like get the best deals and like, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that's why, like, for me, I love Walgreens, but sometimes it is a little bit scary because you know that like it is a little hit or miss, and you could wind up doing a little bit, you know, something just slightly different and then it not working out or something like that. So like I said, overall, this actually worked out well for me, even though it wasn't the way it was supposed to work out. And again, if you were doing this, what I would highly suggest actually is to do the P&G deal separate and then do the beauty reward separate in, you know, separate transactions, to be quite honest. Now, I don't know if somebody would let me know, are you able to actually do 2 separate store pickups? I'm assuming that you could. I personally don't want to like upset my Walgreens employees, because they're really awesome at my Walgreens, honestly. They like, again, this Walgreens, I'm surprised, because this was my local Walgreens that I, you know, do this pickup stuff through. They used to always, when I would coupon there before, always be out of stuff, and they were the one that like never had anything in stock. But funny enough, I have like probably 5 Walgreens in my area, like immediate area, and there's like 2 CVS's, and the one CVS is like completely on the opposite side. Like I hit 2 Walgreens before I hit 1 CVS coming out of my house. Like, you know, so like if I'm driving to CVS, I will pass by 2 Walgreens before I get to the CVS. And they're literally on the same street too, practically. So even some of the stuff, like I was surprised they actually had this L'Oreal, the moisturizer in stock, because this was kind of like a hot item for this week. They had some of the other ones out of stock, but they did have this one and a different, 2 or 3 different kinds that were still in stock that worked out with this deal. But like I said, I just don't want to like completely upset my Walgreens employees and be like, here, I have 1 separate order, and then I'm going to do another separate order and like pay for them separately. And then again too, because my dad normally goes after work on Mondays and picks up the order, I have to make sure that he knows that there's 2 orders to pick up if I were to do that. But if anybody has ever done that, where you do like 2 pickup orders and they're at like the same time, where again too, like I said, it would be, I would place 1 pickup order, and then, you know, again, slightly after that, just place the next one once I add all the next items to my cart, and then just place that. And then again, go and pick them up at the same time, but they're 2 separate orders, and like telling them, hey, I'm here for this order, which again would for me be like the P&G deal. And then, hey, I'm also here for this order, which would have been like the beauty reward deal. I just don't want the Walgreens employees to like hate me because I'm doing like 2 separate pickup orders, and they got to pick like technically 2 separate orders and stuff like that. But overall, they're really cool at that Walgreens. It's also the Walgreens, like I said, the one closest to us where I get my prescription from. So my dad, again too, like normally goes there and just picks up the prescription, picks up the Walgreens pickup order too. So like I said, that's why I'm thinking like it should be okay, but that would be how I would suggest personally doing it. Even too, if you had to do it over the course of like 2 different days then possibly, or like once you pick up the other pickup order or something like that. But I'll get into the deals. I'll share with you guys everything. I'll share with you guys how everything should work as well. And like I said, I actually picked up more items than I needed to meet like the $45 threshold for the P&G deal, because I was planning on using Walgreens cash, and again, didn't work out exactly like I planned. And I was also over that as well with the beauty reward deal that I needed to meet that also. So again, and I also worked this out slightly different as well, because there is a promo code for the L'Oreal, the moisturizer, which is just the promo code LUCKY, and it'll take $6 off. Now those promo codes count against your your like spend deals. So make sure that you are figuring that in as well. So like that would be $6 less than what you actually need to meet that spend deal. But instead of using that, I actually used the MAR 20, which was 20% off select items. It wasn't all the items. Like it wasn't the toothbrush, but it was the toothpaste. And I think it was most of these items as well though. But for me, that actually took $7 off instead of the $6. So that's what I ended up going with. That was not what actually ended up causing me not to earn my Walgreens cash. It was because I used the Walgreens cash. I mean, it did, but even if I hadn't used the promo code, I still wouldn't have earned back the Walgreens cash because my threshold was still under that, even without that promo code. But promo codes count against your spend thresholds, either your weekly spend boosters, your monthly spend boosters, or those spend deals, like for example the deals with the P&G and the beauty reward as well. So, like I said, I'll get into all the deals, share with you guys what's going on, the totals and stuff like that, but I just wanted to let you guys know, again, if you're doing these type of deals as well, and especially if you wanted to do both deals like at the same time like this, your threshold for this would need to be $70 in order to use Walgreens cash. So for me, I would have had to have been, if I wanted to use the $50 in Walgreens cash, I had to be at $120, and I was only at $105, and that's after sales, but again, and after the promo codes and after any Walgreens cash, I'd have to be at the $70. So the total retail cost though for all of these items would have been $128.85. Like I said, I paid just $4.11 out of pocket and saved $124.74. I used the $50 in Walgreens cash and I earned back $30.48 in Walgreens cash. Again, I'm assuming that the $10 in Walgreens cash that I did not earn back was the beauty reward because of the threshold that I did not meet for that. So my net cost was $23.63. Now I had planned on, again, if I hadn't used any Walgreens cash, if you guys were doing the exact same deal and going to pay out of pocket, or again, I believe you still could use $20 in Walgreens cash. I was again figuring I could have even used $30. If everything had worked out perfectly, I'd earn that $10 back. Like I said, either didn't use Walgreens cash or, you know, again, only used the $20 or whatever. My net cost should have been really for all these items $13.63. Again, I'm still not really that mad with $23.63 for these items. And again, like I was saying, the Olay, these are regularly $8.29. So for the three of them, they would have been $24.97. That was less than a net cost of what I paid for all of the items still. So like I said, really, I am not that mad about it. And I'm still very happy that I was able to get such a low out of pocket for the items that I did pick up as well. If I hadn't used the $50, I only used $20, I would have spent like $34 out of pocket, which isn't really that awesome. I wish that the way you could redeem Walgreens cash was, again, maybe in increments of 10. You could do the lower amounts the same, but then once it is like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 instead, so that it's not just 20 to 50. Like that seems like kind of a lot. I would love it if you could do $30 and $40 redemption as well, because that would change up a lot of things and I would actually be able to get, like I said, some of those deals and do things a little bit differently because I'd be able to redeem some of those Walgreens cash. So I'll start off with the deals for this week, and like I said, I ended up adding more products than I needed to actually meet those spend thresholds, but again, my purpose was kind of to be able to use Walgreens cash to pay. Like I said, didn't work out exactly as planned, but I will share with you guys each of the individual deals and then again kind of how it should work out if you were just doing it just kind of by itself. With the beauty reward deal that's going on, for me, I picked up 2 of the Maybelline baby lips, which are $6.99 regular price, but they're on sale, buy one get one 50% off. Regularly though, these would have been $13.98 for the 2 of them. There is a $6 off 2 digital coupons, so for these you'll pay $4.48 for 2 or $2.24 each and save $9.50. And again, that counts towards that spend 25 and you earn the $10 in Walgreens cash. Then the Milani lipsticks, which are $7.99. They're buy one get one 50% off as well. At regular price, these would have been $15.98 for the both of them, but with a buy one get one 50% off sale and a $6 off 2 digital coupon, these end up being $5.98 for 2 or $2.99 each and you save $10. Again, to be quite honest, I don't even think that's that bad of a price for lipstick. Like, I don't think that you could get many brands of lipstick for cheaper than really $3 anyway. So still a pretty good deal. Then with the Pantene hair mask, now this, I don't know if this is on clearance because it's priced $8. And that seems, I don't know, maybe it's on sale, but it could also be clearance price. Like I said, I don't know. It's just normally things like that aren't really priced like without like a 99 cents. So they are $8 though, and again they count towards the beauty reward, but they are regularly $9.99 and we have a $4 off digital coupon, so that will be just $4 and you'll save $5.99. And again, like I was saying, this does count towards the beauty reward. In addition to that as well, the L'Oreal moisturizers, which like I said, there's a pretty good amount to choose from, and my store was out of a few of them, but they did have some other ones as well. These are $16.99. They're regularly $19.99, and we have an $8 off digital coupon. Now you can also use the promo code LUCKY, which will get you $6 off the L'Oreal moisturizer, and it will not work with any other promo code. So if you are using MAR15, which is 15% off of a $35 purchase, I believe, and MAR20 is 20% off a $50 purchase. And again, only select items are actually counting towards that. It says site-wide, but it's not. Only select items actually count. So if you apply those promo codes like I did, then you will not get that off, and that was because I actually got $7 and some change off with the using the MAR20 promo code because again of the items that I was picking up. And also remember again that the promo codes do count again any spend boosters or the spend, you know, deals such as the beauty reward deal. So for this, it's just $2.99 after the promo code and that $8 digital coupon, which is amazing. And $10.99 of that will still count towards that $25 that you need to earn the, you know, $10 back in Walgreens cash. If you're not using the Lucky promo code like I wasn't, this is still $8.99, which I still thought was a great price, especially because again, I was figuring that into the beauty reward deal. And you'll save $17, or in my case, I saved $11, but I still used the other promo codes, so it took off more money, which for me was better anyway. That was what I ended up doing or figured for the beauty reward. Like I said, I didn't earn it back, but the way it would have worked out was that the pre-coupon subtotal would have been $47.45. If you were using the promo code LUCKY, it was $41.45. Your out-of-pocket would have been $23.45, or with the Lucky promo code $17.45. However, if you were not using the Lucky promo code, you could use $20 in Walgreens cash. If you were using the promo code Lucky, you could still use $10 in Walgreens cash and pay like $7.45 out of pocket, and then earn back the $10 in Walgreens cash for the $25, making the net cost all 6 of those items $7.45. So that is one way you could do the scenario. Now again, there's probably a few actually better ways, because the $40 or so is way more money than you need to actually meet the threshold. But like I said, for me, because I wanted to use Walgreens cash to pay, this was still worked out to be a pretty good deal for the items that I picked up that actually counted towards that beauty reward deal. And like I said, for me though, it didn't work out because I was using Walgreens cash. I used too much. I ended up using too much in Walgreens cash to not end up earning that back. Now with the P&G reward deal that is going on, this is a coupon that you will need to make sure that you clip. And like I was saying earlier, for some reason it says off oral care. It's not. It is just worded for that for some reason, but it's not. It's on the P&G products and select P&G products. The thing that's also confusing too, because we have 2 of these spend deals that are going on this week, you would think that an item like potentially the Pantene, which is a P&G product, would count towards the P&G deal, or the other way around. It's not. Or possibly these Olay would actually be counting towards the beauty deal. It's not. So just make sure that if you are doing one or the other deals, you make sure that you are, you know, purchasing the right items for the select spend deals that are going on for this week as well. But with these, it is when you spend $45, you will earn $15 back in Walgreens cash. And with this spend deal, the way I ended up working this out was we did have 2 other deals that were also earning back Walgreens cash as well, but that was not a spend deal, that was with a buy deal. So a buy deal is when you buy X amount of items, you will earn back your Walgreens cash, and you can use Walgreens cash to pay for those items. They don't count against the total like a spend deal does. You just have to make sure that you buy however many it says to earn the Walgreens cash back. But with the spend deal, you have to make sure that your subtotal is over that amount to be able to use Walgreens cash, but you have to figure in any Walgreens store coupons or any promo codes that you are using in a spend deal as well. Those will count against that total that you will need to earn the spend deal along with any Walgreens cash. So that's how you can calculate your Walgreens cash that you can use afterwards, if that makes sense. I'm really hoping to have a more detailed breakdown about how to use Walgreens cash, because again, I've been doing Walgreens deals for so long, and the spend deals are kind of a little bit newer, but they've actually been going on for quite a while, and I've been couponing at Walgreens infrequently enough that I have been doing them for a while, and I know a lot of the kind of ins and outs of ways to kind of, again, be able to still use Walgreens cash while still earning Walgreens cash. Again, back to the P&G deal. Now again, I spent well over the $45 threshold that I needed, and that was again with the anticipation of being able to use Walgreens cash to still earn it back, which I did, but it didn't work out for the beauty deal because my threshold was still under the $70, like I was explaining that to you guys. Anyways, the Downy rinse, this is $5.49. It is regularly $5.99, and we have a $2.50 off digital coupon, so it is just $2.99 and you save $3, again counting towards the P&G deal. Along with the Downy beads, which are $5.49. These are regularly $7.49, and we have a $2.50 off coupon on this as well, making it $2.99 and you save $4.50, also counting towards that P&G reward. The Tide Pods, now you can do the Tide Pods or the Tide Liquid. These are $10.99. They count towards that P&G deal. They're regularly $14.99, and we have a $3 off digital coupon. Now there's a separate coupon on the pods, a separate coupon on the liquid as well, so just make sure whichever you are picking up, you have the correct coupon clipped. You'll pay $7.99 for that and save $7, and again, like I said, counting towards the P&G reward. The Olay body wash, this is a good deal because again, it does count towards the P&G deal, and these are on sale for $8. They're regularly $8.29, so the three of them would have been $24.97. We have a $7 off 3 digital coupons, so if you pick up the 3 of those, use that coupon, you'll pay $17 and you earn $5 back in Walgreens cash when you buy 3 of the Olay body washes, making these $12 for 3 or $4 each. Now alone themselves, not the best price, but like I said, these are counting towards the P&G reward, so you'll save $12.97. We also have a deal which in and of itself is a really good deal just, again, alone, which is on the Crest toothpaste, which is $4, and the Oral-B toothbrushes, which are also $4. Now, you could also pick up the $3.50 items as well if you wanted to. You can mix and match with that. I think it's the $3.50 to the $4 or $4.50 items. But just double check, click on whichever toothpaste, toothbrush, or also I believe the floss picks as well that you want, and just make sure that it's counting towards that. But just remember, buying the $4 item or the $3.50 item, that will count differently again and affect your total for the $45 that you need to earn the P&G reward. But for me, I picked up the $4 ones. The toothpaste are regularly $5.29, so these would have been $10.58, and the toothbrush is regularly $4.99. But again, they're on sale for $4. For the 3 of them, I used a $5 off 3 digital coupon, paid $7 out of pocket, and earned $5 in Walgreens cash back for buying 3, making these $2 for 3 or 67 cents each, which like I said, in and of itself is a great deal, but it's also counting towards the P&G deal that's going on this week as well. Most of those items I think are, but there could be select items that are not, so again, just always make sure you're double checking. So for these, I saved $13.57. The total for all of those P&G items, though, totaled $57.97. And again, out of pocket, after all the coupons came off, was $37.97. Now with that, if you picked up the same items, you could use a max of $10 in Walgreens cash. So your out of pocket would be $27.97 if you use the Walgreens cash to pay. You would earn $15 back in Walgreens cash for the Spend 45 P&G reward, plus you would earn the $5 in Walgreens cash back for the Olay, and the $5 back in Walgreens cash for the Crest Oral-B. So your net cost for all of those items would be just $12.97, which again, for me, this was how I worked it out, and I did get this Walgreens cash back, so that was how that worked out for me. I think for about $13 for all these items is a really good deal. I used the promo code MAR20, which took 20% off of $50 of select items. Again, it was not all of the items, and that also, I believe, is calculated after all of your manufacturer coupons. coupons as well. And again, any store coupons and sales and all that kind of stuff. So it took $7.31 off, which like I said, for me was better than using that L'Oreal, the Lucky promo code. So I used that, and I also had a $5 weekly spend booster, which was not that high of a spend booster, but it was only when I spent $20, so I also earned that back. Plus, this is the first transaction of the month that will count towards the $10 spend booster that I can earn for spending $15 in 3 transactions. So again, so long as I do that just the other 2 times throughout the month, I will be able to earn back the money that I didn't get back from the beauty deal, which like I said, I still only paid $4 out of pocket for all this stuff. So I'm really not that mad. And using Walgreens cash that I keep accumulating anyway, I still will end up accumulating more back as well. So like I said, I am a little bit frustrated. It didn't work out exactly like I planned, but I kind of sort of knew. I knew it was going to kind of be a hope and a prayer that it was going to, but I did kind of have that feeling that it wasn't going to work out, which like I said, it didn't. But I still think like under $25 as a net cost, that's not that bad, right? I know that there's a lot of scenarios out there where like this stuff is literally free or possibly a moneymaker for some people, but with most of those scenarios, you do have to spend a lot out of pocket. And so I am pretty happy with not having to spend a lot of out of pocket, using up Walgreens cash that I already have, and still making my net cost not that ridiculous for a bunch of items that are super expensive normally. Like I said, L'Oreal and Olay and Tide, and again, the makeup products, like those are things that I don't normally get deals on, and getting deals on them and them being a good price, and still, like I said, my net cost not being that much and spending little out of pocket, I was pretty happy with it. But I don't know, let me know, what do you guys think? Good deals, not good deals? Did you guys have better scenarios obviously going on for this week? Like I said, the in-store stuff, really good deals going on this week too, especially with spend boosters and all of that kind of stuff. For me, the convenience of doing this as a pickup order, especially when I had a prescription that had to get picked up from this Walgreens anyway, like super convenient. So anyways, that does it for me though from Walgreens for this week. Like I said, let me know about all the Walgreens things you guys got going on for this week. Also, I think that this beauty deal may be running all month. I have to double check, but I thought I saw that it said it was running all month. So if it is, that would be amazing. We might get some other deals too, like throughout the month as well, and you know, just come up with some really good scenarios for that stuff too. And if that's the case, then I'm overall not really that mad, because I could still do a ton more other stuff and come up with other scenarios for that too. But again, I'd have to check. So anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video though, make sure you guys like and follow, and I'll see you guys all in the next haul. So bye guys.